the return of a Canadian institution. Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling is back. Tell a friend. Sold out crowd shaking.
Hey, thank you for pressing play on the Tuesday, February 18 edition of the Maurologue, where the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. Mega Maurologue shout out to Canadian icon Stompin' Tom Connors. And yes, the USA and Canada are set for an epic rematch in the Four Nations Face-Off Final this Thursday at TD Garden in Boston. You'll recall their last clash last Saturday. Well, it featured a myriad fisticuffs, 3 fights in the first 9 seconds, and a 3-1 victory for Team America. However, Team USA currently grappling with injuries to key players, including 2 involved in the tussles, the Tkachuk brothers, Matthew and Brady, as well as Austin Matthews and Charlie McAvoy. Despite these setbacks, the Americans remain confident. On the flip side, Team Canada riding high after a 5-3 victory over Finland, with stars like Connor McDavid, Nathan MacKinnon, and Sidney Crosby leading the charge. With national pride and championship glory on the line, this showdown promises to be a must-watch event. 5 million watched their first meeting. I expect a lot more to watch the final. From the ice to the community, another sports legend is making headlines. Michael Jordan, who I mentioned on Monday's edition of the Maurologue, is celebrating his 62nd birthday yesterday. Well, he's the gift that keeps on giving. This guy isn't just a legend on the court. He's making MVP-level plays for community healthcare, too. The NBA icon is celebrating the opening of his 4th Michael Jordan Family Medical Clinic, the 2nd in his hometown of Wilmington, North Carolina. It'll open tomorrow, February 19. The 7,300 square foot clinic will provide essential primary care services, especially for uninsured and underinsured patients. Partnering with Novant Health, Jordan's clinics have already helped thousands, including nearly 1,800 patients at the first Wilmington location in just 9 months. With a $10 million donation fueling these efforts, MJ continues to prove that his greatest assists happen off the court. While shifting from physical health to mental well-being, and mental health is physical health, and health is wealth, and Universal Music Group, well, it's partnered with the nonprofit Music Health Alliance, MHA, to establish the Music Industry Mental Health Fund. This initiative aims to provide comprehensive outpatient mental health services to music professionals across the United States. Notably, the fund is accessible to all current and former music industry professionals, regardless of their affiliation with UMG. This development follows recent calls from artists like Chappell Roan, who during her Grammy acceptance speech urged record labels to provide livable wages and health care for artists. UMG's Chief Impact Officer, Susan Mazzo, emphasized the importance of this partnership, stating it was a natural progression to ensure effective mental health support for those in the industry. In the realm of music achievements, Kendrick Lamar has made history as the first rapper to have 3 albums simultaneously in the top 10 of the Billboard 200 chart. His latest release, GNX, has returned to the #1 spot. Additionally, his previous albums, Damn and Good Kid, Mad City, have secured positions at #9 and #10, respectively. This achievement follows his recent Super Bowl halftime performance and adds to his legacy as one of the most influential artists in hip-hop history. Speaking of influential and reflecting on musical milestones, it was on this day in 1959 the late Ray Charles recorded What Did I Say?, a song that started as pure improvisation. During a live show in Pittsburgh, he and his band needed to fill 10 more minutes to complete their set, so he started playing a call and response groove with the crowd. The spontaneous jam turned into his first crossover hit, topping the R&B charts and reaching number 6 on the pop charts. It became the electrifying closer for almost every Ray Charles concert and is now considered one of the greatest R&B songs of all time. Well, that's the kind of music that warms the soul, and as winter's chill sets in, the importance of warmth becomes paramount. For millions of Americans, a warm coat is not just about comfort, it's about survival. That's why one warm coat is running thousands of coat drives annually, ensuring no one has to endure the cold without proper attire. For people experiencing homelessness, a coat isn't just outerwear, it's a lifeline. One Warm Coat collaborates with over 1,500 nonprofits to distribute coats where they're needed most, from shelters to food banks. They're also making an environmental impact by keeping over 1 million pounds of textiles out of landfills each year. To help, consider donating a coat, contributing funds, or starting a coat drive. After all, warmth is a basic human right. While inspiring acts of kindness can come from personal experiences, at the age of 8, Madeline Jackman choked on a piece of steak at a restaurant, and a quick-thinking nurse saved her life with the Heimlich maneuver and CPR. Now a high school student in Massachusetts, Madeline founded the Heart Starters program, offering free CPR training to local restaurant staff. Her initiative ensures more people are prepared to act in emergencies, turning her personal scare into a community-wide life-saving mission. Mega Maurologue shout out, by the way, to MMA trailblazer Frank the Legend Shamrock, who used the Heimlich maneuver to save my life years ago. Hopefully he hasn't regretted that. Remember to always chew your food completely before swallowing, kids. From life-saving initiatives to record-breaking feats, yes, it is time to spill the tea on one of my go-to beverages, tea. In 2014, Arabi Tea in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, unveiled a colossal tea bag tipping the scales at 551 pounds, enough to keep a giant awake for days. Now, not to be outdone, in 2016, Somerville, South Carolina, brewed up 2,524 gallons of sweet tea, solidifying their claim as the birthplace of sweet tea. With these monumental tea feats, it's clear that when it comes to tea, some folks believe bigger is truly brutiful. Today's Morovation comes from Tina Turner, who overcame significant personal and professional challenges to become the queen of rock and roll. Her resilience and determination transformed her from a small-town girl into a global music icon. And as she once said, "I call something a miracle when an ordinary person achieves something extraordinary." We all have the potential to create miraculous changes. Turner's life exemplifies this belief, demonstrating that with perseverance, anyone can achieve the extraordinary. Hey, thank you for listening to the Maurologue. Please like, share, and subscribe. Now, go and hold the door open for someone and keep fighting the good fight.